It's telling me to find a well-lit area. Hey, you guys. Hey, everybody. You coming in? Please go ahead and tap the screen out for your girls so that we can get more people in here so that this live can come across some more people, you know, um, and we can talk. So I don't try to think this is a lecture. I'm not doing no lecture, nothing like that. Um, I'm just telling you guys about what I got going on, which is my ebook. And well, kind of what put me on the road of it, you know what I'm saying? Myself, I just got tired of the rat race, right? I think a lot of us are just at a stage that we just burnt out with the way everything is going. Nobody wants to keep getting up to go punch into somebody else's clock, or, you had these people on these jobs with favoritism and nepotism and all other isms that you can, put onto these jobs. And I know for myself, I came across somebody like some years ago, and they had told me, always try and have something else, lined up because they had seen how it was in the workplace. So after that, I always thought about how I can be able to have a plan out because really the way things is going, in society, we can't just sit up and wait for like retirement or whatever. It's not no money there. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no money there. So if you sitting up waiting on that, you see people now, if you look at it, if you watch any kind of news, you see a lot of people, especially like a lot of older people, and it's sad that they are just like trying to figure out how in the world they gonna eat. You get what I'm saying? How they gonna be able to supplement their income or in anything. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, this is how good it's gonna get. It got to get better than this. You know what I'm saying? That's really what I'm thinking. It got to be better than this. And so, um, myself, what I ended up realizing is that the only way to kind of counteract that is that I had to be able to have a plan or a way to scale up. Um, so I don't know. I know for me, it was just like, okay, what do you know? What are you proficient in? What is your interest in? And everybody usually says that, right? And I'm just like, okay, well, if I look at it, what is it that I'm good at, or what is it that I'm really more so concerned about, right? And so for me, my concern is more so on with the job market and where it's going and knowing that there are possibilities. I'm coming on here with these lives to talk to y'all, and I'm coming on here because I have an ebook as well. It's not about trying to upsell you on whatever it is. Yes, it would be beautiful if you bought with my book. It's on Amazon. It's also at this website right here. But the thing I really want you guys to understand is that AI is here. The job markets, I don't care what they're saying on the news. The job markets, we have to use some type of common sense for ourselves. The job market is not getting better. You have companies that would rather invest that money into their company and bet on themselves rather than a the jobs. Can you imagine 14,000 people that Amazon is letting go? That's 14,000 families that's not gonna have that additional income coming in. It it's astronomical to me. So I know for myself, I just really got tired of being sick and tired. I got tired of being sick and tired, and I was just thinking to myself, like, girlie, something gotta give. You gotta be able to do something. And so It was me being tired of being sick and tired that made me want to learn and upskill myself. Now, I know everybody's not gonna want to do that. I know everybody, I don't want to have to go back to school. I don't want to have to listen. You are consistently learning something. I don't care if you're doing I don't care if you're doing hair, I don't care if you're doing whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is that when you learn a skill, you empower yourself, right? And one of the best skills that is out here that you can actually learn is AI because it provides financial freedom. Now, I don't know what y'all thoughts are. You can share your thoughts on what financial freedom looks like to you. And because to me, financial freedom means I don't have to be worried if I'm gonna have the money to be able to pay for my place to stay. I don't have to be worried about am I gonna have enough food. It's not going to bother me one way or the other if someone doesn't do X, Y, and Z for me, right? That's what financial freedom look. It looks like I don't have to worry about student loans, the student loan company calling me because a student loan payment is late. It's okay making that final payment on your vehicle. It's not having to worry about any of that. That's what financial freedom looks like to me. Financial freedom to you could look like paying off a mortgage. It could look like paying off someone's college tuition. So it looks different for everyone. But the only way that you really gonna be able to achieve that is by upselling your skills, learning a new skill and upselling your skills. So I come on here and I talk to y'all because listen, it's different for everybody. Um, I just know that for with me, like I said, the biggest thing is that for me, the wake up call was that nobody is coming to help. Ain't nobody coming to help. And I just felt like where's the help gonna be at? And when I got to that realization, when nobody coming to help, y'all, it was just like, okay, so am I gonna just sit here and ain't nobody coming to help me, or am I going to go and actually try and find a way to scoop and dig myself out of this? Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, because I know it's gonna be some people that say, "Oh, well, you got into." No, okay. So a little bit of my backstory. You know how they say a good deed doesn't go unturned or whatever it is. Well, the good deed was is that I would be someone that was always helpful. And I thought that my help was helping those individuals. But that's not the case. Sometimes people want to be where they're at. Sometimes people are stagnant and want to be where they're at. I just had seen this other video. And it was saying about how I think it was like a reference to Machiavelli and with one of his teachings, right? And it was saying like when you help somebody once or twice, those people are really grateful and appreciative to you. But by the time you keep helping them out like the fifth through the 15th time, they feel like, okay, yeah, I can always call on them to do it. But by the time the 20th and 30th, 20th and more time roll around, they feel like you're obligated to do it. Okay. So like this is the thing, real life example. Your buddy needs somebody to babysit, she can go to work, you chilling, you doing whatever, remote work and whatever. Okay, I got an emergency. Can you babysit this and this and that? You go and babysit. Oh, they appreciate what you're doing. They appreciate you. Okay, by the time the fifth through the 10th time come, hey, I know I can call D because she'll watch them. She did this before when there's an emergency for me. They get comfortable with you doing it. And then after that, just say the 20th to 30th time, they figure you're supposed to do it because you know that they situation, you know that they barely getting to work on time. You know that child care costs a lot. And so because they feel like you're obligated to do it, what happens is a sense of entitlement. And so those same people feel like you are now obligated to do whatever it is for them. And so Machiavelli was saying that once they have that obligation factor that they have psychotically thought of, When you tell a person no, that you're tired, that you want to remove yourself from the situation, they then get aggravated and upset and they lash out at the person who was helping them. And I said, wow, that is a beautiful summation of exactly what that is. And that's whether you have somebody babysitting, you lending money to, you helping out, or whatever it is. That is a perfect scenario of that. And so, like I said, my burnout point was helping those, and that's what I'm leading this segment back to, helping those who did not feel like they should help themselves out. And so, after I had to sit and look, I honestly had to change my mindset. I know you saying you had to change your mindset. Yeah, I had to change my mindset. Um, and what that meant was I had to take time for me. I honestly had to take time for me. And what that looks like is this: telling people no, shutting them down, and just really focusing on me. That's what that looked like. Because I'm gonna tell you, I was putting people first, other people first before my wants and needs. I started pouring out of a cup that was slowly going down. It was emptying out. Now I pour you a good portion, but I don't refuel myself. And then I have other things tugging on me. And so it just kept going down. And I got to the point that I was burnt out. I was tired. And I was just like, I can't keep doing this. And so after that, I had to clear time for me to be able to think. You know, your mind is the strongest muscle that you have if you don't know. And so after I started thinking, I was just like, what kind of person would constantly want you to be helping them and they can never help you out? What kind of, that's not an even relationship. And I had to really just discuss it with me. And so, like I said, that was part of what my um wake up call, I guess you could say it is, right? And so because of that, I was just like, you know what? I'm helping people out, but ain't nobody helping and living for me. Ain't nobody just out there doing that like that for me. And I have to start doing it for myself. And so with me finally coming to that understanding, I was just like, you know what? If nobody's coming to save me once again, so I was saying in the beginning, and being used even by close people, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, what do I want? I want to be able to leave something for the next generation. I want to be able to live a better lifestyle. I want to be able to do things that I could have only dreamed of. You know what I'm saying? That's my aspiration, right? And so I had to then look, after I realized what was going on, I had to then look at my current situation. I knew what was causing the hindrance because that's what I was telling you, what caused the hindrance. But then I had to look at my current situation and say, where am I at right now? Where am I realistically at? Right? What issues have been created from me aiding those who were ungrateful and who did not deserve that attention and that time that they got? And what was, because I did that, what was now the effects of it? What was my reality because of that? Right? Excuse me. And once I did that, I really had to sit. If you guys could see all the post-its that I got, I really had to sit and go through the list. I've neglected myself. I've neglected some finances. I've neglected this. I'm not a participant in this. I'm not volunteering. I'm not going and doing all of the things, excuse me, that I would normally do because I had put somebody else and their needs and their wants before mine. And I seen where it was dragging me down, right? And made me have to check my reality for what it was at that point in time, right? And so I just got fed up. I got fed up. I got fed up with going to a job where it was clear nepotism and favoritism and all the isms. I got tired of being around with friends and family who just was using in narcissistic ways. I woke up to it, right? And everybody is not going to have that same awakening. I understand that. But this is what my story was, okay? And so what I ended up doing was I said, I had to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if this is what's going on, what are you now? I knew what the problem was. I knew what the contributing factors was. And then I had to say, what are you going to do to get yourself out of it? What are you going to do? You can either blame them and play the blame game, which a lot of people do, and just use that as my ace every time you look up, and then it's argument and stuff. Or I can try and find an active solution to what has put me and aided in the situation I'm in and makes me unhappy. And don't get me wrong, but doing that too, you have to take a certain level of accountability yourself because you could have easily walked away. That's what I said myself, right? Um, Give me just a second, you guys. Excuse me. Give me just a second. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm constantly going. So I'm just saying it to say this. That was my burnout point, and because of that, I had to take my level of accountability. And because I didn't want to go and be one of those people that just blame everybody. Oh, it's their fault. This is the reason why. And I know people that do that. That's the cold part. I know people that do that all of the time. And so I decided because I found out issues that led to a negative situation. I seen the reality and the cause and effect of the situation. And I know I wanted to change the situation. I took the accountability, but I had to find a solution out of this situation. And so, what my solution was is what I always do. I research, just like anybody else. It's not enough money. It's not, the economy is not, I don't know what you're saying. It's not enough money. Everything is getting higher, and the cost of borrow money is higher. The cost of rent's higher. The cost of gas is higher. The cost of food is higher. The cost of childcare is higher. Everything is growing higher and higher and higher, and it can be overwhelming. So, people tell you, well, you have to live within your means, you have to cut back and this. But what happens when you can't cut back anymore? What happens when you can no longer cut back? When you're only with the necessities, your food, your rent, your car payments, what happens then? When you have cut back and cut out as much as you can. So then it becomes to a point that you have cut it out. You trying to live below your means, but everything gets higher. I'll give you an example. Like in California, everyone's insurance rate has gone up. One, due to the fires, and two, because of vehicle thefts and break-ins and different things like that. So the prices have escalated, right? This is the thing about it. Something like that, you can't deduct it. So now you have millions of people who are going without insurance because they simply cannot afford it. They can't afford it. They cannot afford it. So then you have to look and see, okay, I've cut back everything. And this is my story too. I cut back everything, but it's still not enough. So I have to be able to increase my income. Well, with what I'm working with, where I was at that level, I couldn't increase the income because I was just at that level. And the only ways you can do that is you can increase your income after you cut back on your spending only a few ways. You can either get another job to be able to increase your money. You can try and be an entrepreneur and sell something, or you can borrow money. And times it's hard. People ain't got no money for you to borrow. They don't have it, and they hate to see you coming because they stressed out with their own bills. I don't care if it's mama, daddy, cousin, uncle, whoever. I don't care. 'Cause no one wants to part with their money like that. Okay. And so I was just sitting there and just watching and things like that. And, I said, man, I'm just burnt out. I'm tired. I can't go and get another job. It's not feasible. You get off of work and then you're going to go to another job that's 4 to 6 hours. And then they telling you what to do. Then you get home. If you have kids or a husband or whatever, or a wife and kids, you tired. You got to deal with them. You can't take it out on them, but you exhausted. What time do you have for you then? You don't have no time. You don't have any time that's available because you are now exacerbating all of your time on what it is that you're trying to do. And it's not making sense. You start thinking to yourself, like, what kind of foolishness is this? And that's when I don't know if you've seen it on here. There's a guy who said that he solved the equation for with being broke, right? And I get the concept behind it. I don't know if you guys have seen the video or not, but I really do get the concept behind what he's saying. But this is the thing behind it. You cannot trade your time for money or hourly on a salary someplace because it's never going to even out. You have to look at it like this. These people who franchise McDonald's, Taco Bell, or wherever it is, they are not, they have it run so it's automatic. So they're not spending their time for money. The people that are actually in there that's wrapping burgers and giving you food, they are spending time for money and it never adds up. So there, by the time, okay, if you saying you make $20 on the high end at one of these fast food places, just an example, you make $20. By the time taxes and fees come out of that $20, you might be at a solid 16 to 14, between 14 and $16, depending on what you claiming as a credit. So $14 for an hour of your time. What within an hour at a fast food place is how many orders you would take? Do you know how much mopping you gonna have to do and cleaning you would have to do within the hour? Listen, I want you guys to think about this. Within an average hour, and listen, because I don't like just pulling numbers. How much? Let's just take how much does an average McDonald's McDonald's franchise make? Let's just ask. Okay. This is just we just gonna ask to find out. So listen, so okay. Let me go over the numbers. Okay. So an average McDonald's franchise, just the company itself, right? Um, they're saying that they on the base end they're making $64 an hour in sales, which I believe that data is a little outdated because when I have been to McDonald's, they make more than more cars come through that, and the sales is like $10 to $15 per person, right? So I'm gonna say it like this. Matter of fact, that data is let me see, 2025. I'm just getting information so I can be able to show you. Okay. So they're saying the franchise owners make about um $72 an hour. Okay, maybe I'm wording it wrong. Let's see. Okay, how much an hour with an hour, how much does the average McDonald's sell I'm Um, let me see, McDonald's. I'm trying to get it right, y'all. Purchases. Okay, so I think I worded it right this time. So we know a franchise owner makes $72 an hour. But if you work at McDonald's, you making $17 an hour, right? The owner who ain't there is making $72 an hour. Okay. So this is what it says. In 2025, an average McDonald's restaurant in the United States sells approximately between 450 to $1,100 worth of food purchases per hour. I just want you to think of that. So let's do some simple division. 450 plus 1,100 with that 1,550, that's like 1,775, just say almost $800 an hour. So the company as a whole is making $800 an hour. Out of that 800 per hour, the person who's the franchise person is making 70 something dollars an hour. You as an employee is making $17 an hour. How is your time worth $17 an hour? You're the hardest working person there. You only making $17 an hour. Make it make sense. So, like I said, for me, the point was it was the burnout. It was the realization that you can't change your time for money. So I had to start thinking smarter, right? And for me, what that looked like was you need to upgrade your skills to something that you can do where you're not having to spend gas, you're not having to spend a whole bunch of time, you're not having to go back to a full 4-year institute to be able to get the knowledge that you need. You need to be able to get something you can put in place immediately so that you can be able to make money, right? Just being honest. So the first thing that anybody would tell you, because I watched a lot of different things and went to seminars and stuff like that, is that use your skills that you have and what you know. What do I have and what do I know? Well, that's what got me where I'm at. And I said to myself, well, I need to know more because if what I got is what got me here, then I just need to elevate it more. And that meant for me learning more. So I had to focus myself to be able to learn more. And I tell anybody, no, it's just like anything. It's just like going to the dentist. It's just like going and cooking is just like going and working out. Nobody wants to do it. Don't nobody want to go and work out. Don't nobody want to go work out. Don't know people don't be feeling like cooking at home. People want to be able to chill and they want somebody else to do it for them. That's just the truth. We all want to be able to chill. You know what I'm saying? And so what that means is that we got to be able to increase our income. Now, this, once again, like I said, this ain't no lecture, so don't run when I say this. So, the way that you have to be able to do it, you have to increase your skills. AI is one of the ways that I've seen that you could actually increase your skills, and it's not no sweat off your back. You're gonna have to learn how to do something anyway. Even if you go to McDonald's and work, you gotta learn how to work the register, you gotta learn how to work the fry machine, you're gonna have to learn how to flip and fold burgers. It's the truth. So why go in there and then come back and be smelling like French fries every day when you can learn something simple and be able to create and bring in income for you? So I can tell you about the ebook. I can tell you whatever about the ebook, but I want to tell you why. I don't care if it's here, there, wherever, why it is that you have to be able to incorporate and learn about AI. It's artificial intelligence. I don't want you to think of it as being zombies and stuff like that. I want you to think of a library, a vast library of information. Most people will never go into a library, which is sad. Most people will only check out a few books pertaining to whatever it is that they want, which is even sad. But if you have something at the tip of your hands that you can gain and access information and put stuff together quickly and things like that, you are above the crowd already. And that's what AI is. It is like a library full of information as far as the eye can see. It's a data set base of information, right? show people all the time. This is, if you come on my page, you're gonna see this. This is actually an animation that I did, right? But I like the animation. I like the background and stuff, but it's an animation, right? And so this is the only thing about it. AI is subjected to what you put into the system. When you don't have enough people putting in information into the system or negative information into the system, then that's what you get out of it. That's what it begins to see. I have seen cases where you put in, let me see a black child with such and such, and they might show a monkey with 6 fingers. That's not what black people look like me. They, when I say put in a black person, they will have this up there. This the black person that they will have. And you don't generally see people this color walking around, right? Don't. So, I was like, okay, I'm burnt out with my situation and fed up. But when I'm trying to look at another situation and trying to see what's going on, and that's what made me have to dig deeper into with AI. And that's when I seen, like with most tech, it's a barrier to entry there. It's not like how you would think a barrier to entry is. It's only the barrier to entry to this, and what's stopping so many minorities from being able to get into it is because we don't have a starting point to it. We don't know where to pick up. We don't know how to start. We don't know how to, really incorporate and integrate into AI to be able to show us and our voices and who we are. And so that's why I encourage people, like, with this ebook that I made, it's actually showing you how to, what do you call, prompt search, chat gpt and other apps. You need to be able to put in the correct wording, because if you don't, it's never going to work. It's not going to work for you. You're not going to. This is specialized, that you have to be able to put this in to be able to have all of this. You have to, there's specialized prompts for this. You see the little videos with dogs barking, and then sometimes they're talking and different things like that, or the cat videos, or even the little babies talking. Those are all specialized prompts that are put in, one for that kid to be able to move and walk, and another for that child to be able to talk. But the thing is, you have to be able to learn that. And as much as you're gonna say, "Oh, I can remember," and make it talk, it's not gonna talk like the way you think it is. It's gonna talk like, "Hi, how are you doing?" That's how it's gonna be. So that's why I tell people, you have to be able to be willing and open to learn something, so that you will be able to learn AI prompting, learn and get familiar with it. That's the only way that you're gonna be able to be successful in it. That's the only way, because it's not making sense. It's been out for a while. It is still in a growing phase. Um, but there's a lot of opportunity within AI. But if you don't know anything about AI, you won't know of the vast opportunities that it actually has. And so it causes a lot of people to miss out on it. It's a beautiful thing. It is. Give me just a second, you guys. And the only thing I can say about it, you guys, is you got to be able to get in where you fit in. You got to decide that enough is enough for you, and that you're going to make a change. I mean, I can tell you about my story all day and all night, but my story doesn't have to be your story. Your story could be something totally different from my story. You could just be to the point that you like, hey, it only take one instance and you ready to change. Or you could be like, you don't have anybody and you ready to make a change. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, everyone's story is different. But all I know is that if your story have anything in it talking about you want to make a change, or that you are burnt out, or that you tired, this is the way that you do it. You upskill yourself, whether it's with me, with my ebook, or if it's with someone else. My book is called Beauty, Brilliance, and the Future of AI. It is a guide for African Americans to be able to really jump in and to learn about prompting. You shouldn't have to keep going and paying $2,000 and $3,000 for one course, intro to AI, and all you learning about is theory. Excuse me, guys. You shouldn't have to do that. And that's a ripoff to me. So I'm offering it, and I'm really hoping that you guys will jump on it, because it's really good stuff. Really, really good stuff, and you learn something. I'm teaching more than some of these teachers teaching. And this is the crazy part about it. You wanna know what's really crazy? AI is so new that these self-proclaimed teachers are not subject matter experts in the subject the way that they are trying to proclaim it. They're not. There is still room for a lot of regulation within AI. I see that as well. But there's also room for a lot of millionaires to be made within this whole realm, this upgrade, this manifestation of AI. There is a lot of room. There's a lot of room. This ebook is telling you about how to get in and be able to grab a piece of the pie. This is not a ebook that's showing you how to make an ebook. I don't believe in that. That's a scam to me. Okay. And I'm not knocking anyone's hustle. I'm just saying you need to be able to build a foundation, and you need to honestly learn about AI, not just how to do one function of AI. AI has so many nanoparticles in it that you can choose from. It is just delicious. Okay. It is so many aspects that you can actually get out here and really immerse yourself in, right? But you have to be the one. I don't care how I say it. I don't care how I say it. You gotta feel like you worth it. Amazon said they investing the money from 14,000 employees into they sell. That's confidence. But you catching hell trying to get y'all to invest in yourselves. This billion-dollar company is saying we don't need them employees. We're gonna invest in Amazon. We're gonna bet on Amazon. But you don't want to invest in you, man. Oh my God, are you kidding me? If it was no use, Amazon wouldn't exist. And a lot of these other companies, because it's not just Amazon, UPS, Target, Walmart, a lot of these companies are laying off employees. They said anything that can be done redundantly are the positions that will be replaced. Remember, it used to be somebody who walked around and mopped the floor in there? They now have machines that mop the floors, and they have sensors on them that let you know when someone's walking past. So now that floor mopper doesn't have that job anymore. Imagine how great it would have been if they would be able to have a skill to jump to. The people that's pushing baskets, they don't really need you out there to push them baskets. They have machines that can go and clank onto them baskets and push them back up there. So now the basket pushers are out of a job. And they're not looking at that. They're looking at it as a one-time investment. This product can last us for over 10 to 15 years. It just has to be service and maintenance. It was just said. Start watching the world news if you don't believe me. AI is creating a center of controversy because people don't understand. You can get in front of it by providing different things within AI. There are people who need to be able to learn about AI. There are people who are going to need to service AI. There are people that's going to be able to invoke AI within companies. A lot of these companies don't know. It's going to be people that have to go to these companies to teach these managers who think they know everything. It's the truth. It's gonna be people that's going the basket pushing positions and stuff that these machines is doing, they gonna become obsolete as well as time goes on. Anything you do, like I said, that's done on a redundant base is going to be replaced. They've already done a projection for the next 5 to 10 years. So what is that saying? That's saying that if you do something, and when I say redundantly, if you are pushing buttons in redundantly, the software system that's being out here and created with AI will replace you. It is a fact. Accountants, lawyers, you see it yourself. Lawyers will tell you how much your case is. You see the commercials that come up, plug your information in. We can tell you with someone similar to you, they get all your information. That's AI. That's AI. Okay. You know, when you going over the cart, when you going to the store to check out, and they like, oh, we got you. We don't have to scan you, no problem. That's because now the AI system is scanning everything in your basket to see if you have anything extra, or if this is all the things that's been paid for, because the system is connected to knows already. It knows already. If you're doing accounting work, the system will scan in the information and it processes it. So those accountants, those days of accounting, writing all that, that's over with. That's over with. And you know what industry is going to be hit the hardest? All of the tech. The tech that is old school coding information and creating websites and different things like that. Those are always jobs that, you have to constantly keep up. If you don't believe me, look at Silicon Valley. It used to be a tech haven. Look at it now. Look at it now. At any industry. It's rolling through every industry it is. AI is going through and it's getting rid of the fat that's within the system. Anything that can be automated, they're going to offer a service into it to be able to do it. So, how do you escape that? You adapt, you learn, and you prepare yourself to stay ahead of it because it will constantly, continually improve itself. It will. It will. It's already been a projection of it. And that doesn't matter if you're in government or if you have fast food. It will. And it's a lot of people that's gonna retire out because they're not gonna have it in them to go and learn nothing new. They ain't gonna want to have no parts of it and everything else. And so you have to decide yourself, am I gonna jump in it to be able to know, or am I just gonna leave this how it is? You gonna jump into it and get ready to know. I don't care if it's with me or anyone else. Take the time to start learning a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. Because my ebook gonna be here, regardless. It's gonna be here. Whenever you or whoever it is, listen, this the gift to be given. This the gift to be given. You give somebody some food, they gonna forget about it in a few minutes anyway after they eat it and go and do what they gotta do. You give somebody skills and knowledge, they don't have no excuse. They ain't got no excuse. I gave you the tools to be able to make you some money. You can't complain about it. And then I don't know, because see, look, a lot of these jobs are just to the point that they're not going to reduce their way of life and living to be able to make sure someone else, and it's sad, it's really sad that I'm gonna say it like this, but it's the truth. They are not going to reduce their lifestyle to make sure that you can have food on your table. That's an uncomfortable truth that people are not ready to hear. They're not. Haven't seen Jeff Bezos or anybody else talking about they're gonna reduce taking money. I haven't seen any of these Congress members saying, "Oh, the government shut down. We not gonna take our salary." Did y'all hear that? I ain't hear that. I ain't heard that. And as a matter of fact, it's another hard truth we have to understand. As hard as it is out here, it's not a recession for everybody. Everybody is not on recession mode. If you at home and you eating top rabbit and bologna sandwiches, somebody someplace eating caviar and having a steak well done, a medium well. And you talking about Christmas canceled this year. Somebody saying, bring it on, make it bigger. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know about anybody else, but for me, The thing was just being sick and tired of being sick and tired. But the type of person I am, I'm not a scammy person, so I'm not gonna teach you how to sell or make an ebook on how to make an ebook. I'm not gonna do that. You didn't learn nothing, and ain't nobody else learned nothing. So the only thing I can do is to help to edify and to educate. And that's what I'm doing in this book. It's called Beauty, Brilliance, and the Future of AI. And the thing about it is a beautiful thing. We don't need to be scared of it. We need to be able to learn it. You know, it's a lot of people that's out here that still don't know how to work a computer too. I'm just saying. I've been around the world and seen a lot of stuff. And it's okay because that's a will for ignorance. But if you are trying to upgrade your life, I would tell you, like anybody that I know, we sitting around, hopefully, you get to know what my character. We sitting around and we laughing and talking. I'm gonna tell you, you better get your money up. You know what I'm saying? I tell my buddy all the time, she like, hey, what you doing today? I tell her the same thing I'm doing every day. I'm trying to take over the world. Why would I not bet on me and invest you are your best investment? You gotta understand that, right? You are your best investment. You are your best placement at a time. If you gonna place there are people out here. My mind works fast, you guys. But there are people out here who would literally go out here and place a bet on the lotto instead of placing a bet on themselves. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And if you saying your confidence up here, damn it, your confidence need to be up here too. Okay? You don't let nobody put you in a glass ceiling. If you have an idea to explore, explore it. Explore it. Who is anybody else to say, oh, well, they didn't make it, they didn't? At least you tried. At least you loved yourself enough to try. And that's all somebody can ever ask of you is to try. That's all you can ask of yourself is to try. Try. Try and dream wider than you've ever dreamed. Try to believe more than you've ever had a belief system in. Just try. Invest in you. Love you enough. Love you enough to fill your own cup, is what I'm saying. And financially speaking, if you're going to do that, the easiest way to do it is to learn a new skill that can put you in a different stratosphere, which is AI. It's AI. I don't know how else to tell it to you. It's not no gimmick. It's not no. It's the easiest way that you can be able to make your money. It is millionaires being made every day. Just because you don't see them in your algorithm does not mean that it's not there. Go look up. I've made and just how much I've made since starting an AI company. Just go look it up. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. I appreciate you joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.